Welcome to the deep dive where we cut through the noise and really try to get to the core insights, the stuff that helps you feel genuinely informed. Today, we're tackling a big one. It's a question that, it never really goes away, does it? Will there ever be another Michael Jordan? It's a huge question. We're going deep into MJ's NBA career, his legacy, and really our mission here is to figure out if any player today, any modern player, truly measures up to his dominance, his whole impact. We're using solid sources for this basketball reference, NBA.com, lots of data, plus analyses comparing Jordan to guys like LeBron, Kifty, Steph Curry. So yeah, we'll unpack the stats, compare the numbers, the influence, and try to get at what made that mix of skill, competitiveness, and just like cultural presence so unique. Okay, let's unpack this. All right, so Michael Jordan's career, let's set the scene. 15 seasons, mostly with the Chicago Bulls, obviously, and that little comeback with the Wizards later. And his regular season numbers, well, they're kind of staggering. He holds the NBA record, the career record, for points per game, 30.1. That's not just high, it's the highest ever average. Think about that. For 15 years, every night, teams knew this guy was coming, and they had to, totally warp their defense just to try and slow him down. That's immense. And it wasn't just scoring, right? 6.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 2.3 steals, which is amazing defensive activity, and almost a block per game for a guard. And shooting nearly 50% from the field the whole time, 49.7% exactly.
Yeah, and that 30.1 career scoring average. It's just extraordinary when you think about it. That level of consistent dominance, season after season for 15 years, it's almost unbelievable. Plenty of guys have amazing scoring peaks, sure, but Jordan kept that elite level going pretty much his whole career, even with retirements mixed in. It just says so much about his skill, his drive, that relentless will to score.
And, okay, if the regular season was impressive, the playoffs, well, that was something else entirely. 179 playoff games, and his scoring average actually went up to an NBA record 33.4 points per game. It almost doesn't make sense, does it? The pressure goes up, the games get tougher, and he gets better. What does that tell you?
It tells you he thrived on pressure. He wasn't just a scorer. He was, built for the big moments. That playoff average really underscores it. And what's really fascinating, if you zoom in on his absolute peak, say 88 to 93, his efficiency was incredible. In those years, he was averaging 33 points, almost 7 rebounds, 6 assists, nearly 3 steals in the regular season, with a 59.5% true shooting percentage. And then in the playoffs, during that same stretch, 35 points per game. And remember, this was in an era where the league average true shooting was way lower, maybe around 53, 54%. So his efficiency wasn't just good, it was way ahead of its time.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting. Because it's not just the stats, the awards, the accolades, it's just unmatched. 6 NBA championships with the Bulls, 2 different three-peats, 91-93 and 96-98, and he was the Finals MVP every single time. 6 Finals MVPs, that's a record nobody's even close to. Plus, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles. Can you wrap your head around that? 10, another record. 10 All-NBA first-team nods, and this is huge. 9 all-defensive first-team selections. He wasn't just cooking on offense. He won Defensive Player of the Year in '88. It's like he was saying, okay, I'll drop 30 on you, then I'll take the ball right back. Just a nightmare.
Exactly. That defensive side, those 9 all-defensive teams, the DPOI.
Yeah.
It proves he was this complete two-way force. That's rare, truly rare. He wasn't just scoring buckets. He was locking guys down, disrupting everything on the other end. That combination is, well, it's fundamental to why people call him the Q-Code.
And then you have the moments, right, those iconic games that just cement the legend, like 69 against the Cavs in 1990, or that crazy 63 points in the playoffs against Bird Celtics back in '86. And everyone remembers the shot against Cleveland in '89, or the flu game, right? 1997 final, sick as a dog, drops 38 points. These weren't just games, they were epic stories.
And that 6-0 finals record,
Yeah.
that always comes up, doesn't it? And the fact he never even went to a Game 7 in any of those finals, it just speaks to this incredible clutch ability and mental strength. He didn't just win. He slammed the door shut every time on the biggest stage.
Okay, so we've seen the raw power of Jordan's numbers, but now the tricky part, maybe the most interesting part, how does he compare to the stars today? And you got to acknowledge right away the game is different. Era differences, as people say, rules changed, no hand checking anymore, which definitely helps offensive players. And the three-point shot is huge now.
Absolutely. You have to factor that in. And when we talk comparisons, yeah, it's usually LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. They get brought up for good reason. They each have elements that echo Jordan's scoring, maybe versatility or just a huge cultural footprint. But yeah, the game's evolved, the rules are different, and that definitely affects how we look at their stats, their impact.
Okay, let's start with LeBron. Playing since '03, career averages, 27 points, 7.5 rebounds, 7.3 assists, 1.5 steals, zero point 0.7 blocks. His longevity is just incredible. He's the NBA's all-time leading scorer now, over 41,000 points. That's wild, accolades-wise. 4 rings, 4 finals MVPs, 4 regular season MVPs. Very impressive.
And what's fascinating there is the scoring peak comparison. Jordan's 30.1 career average does edge out LeBron's 27.0 on the regular season. And while LeBron has the all-time points record because he's played so long, 21 seasons now versus Jordan's 15, Jordan's playoff scoring at 33.4, it's still higher than LeBron's 28.2. Now, LeBron's clearly a better playmaker. Look at the assists, 7.3 versus 5.3. Better rebounder, too. But defensively, Jordan's impact looks bigger on paper. 2.3 steals, those 9 all-defensive teams. That's more than LeBron's 1.5 steals and 5 all-defensive teams. And then, there's the finals record. Jordan's perfect 6-0 versus LeBron's 4-6.
Yeah.
And maybe the intangible thing, people talk about Jordan's like killer instinct. LeBron's had countless clutch moments, for sure, but that specific narrative around Jordan's ruthlessness, it's different.
Right. Okay, next up, Kevin Durant, KD, started in 2007. Just an unbelievably efficient scorer, 27.3 points per game on like 50% shooting, almost 39% from 3, nearly 90% from the line. Amazing. He's got 2 championships, both with the Warriors, 2 finals MVPs from those runs, and 1 regular season MVP. Durant's three-point shooting, 38.7%. It's way better than Jordan's 32.7%. That shows you the modern game right there. KD mastered the long ball. But his 2 titles came, playing alongside Steph and Clay, arguably one of the most stacked teams ever. It's different from Jordan being the clear #1 guy leading the Bulls to 6. And defensively, again, there's a gap. Jordan's DPOY, the 2.3 steals, Durant's at 1.1 steals, no major defensive awards. Big difference there.
And finally, Steph Curry. Started in 2009. He literally changed how basketball is played with his shooting. Career 42.6% from 3. Just unreal. He's got 4 championships, 1 finals MVP, which took him a while to get, interestingly, and 2 regular season MVPs.
Curry's scoring average, though, is 24.8 PPG. That's quite a bit lower than Jordan's 30.1. His efficiency is incredible, sure, that true shooting is elite. But it's really boosted by the sheer volume of threes he takes and the way defenses have to stretch out for him. It's a different dynamic than Jordan faced. And defensively, well, it's not really close, is it? Jordan's 2.3 steals, 9 all-defensive teams. Curry's at 1.6 steals and is, let's be honest, often seen as a defensive liability team's target. Curry's greatness is undeniable, absolutely revolutionary. But it's a different kind of greatness than Jordan's all-around two-way dominance.
Okay, so we've laid out the numbers, the awards for these modern greats next to Jordan. What's the takeaway? Does anyone really stack up?
Well, when you put it all together, the stats, the rings, the defense, the intangibles, it feels like no modern player quite replicates the complete package that was Michael Jordan. LeBron James, he's definitely the closest overall. His longevity is unprecedented, the scoring record, the playmaking, he's incredible. But Jordan's scoring peak was higher, that perfect 6-0 finals record looms large, and the defensive edge is pretty clear on Jordan's side. For many people, that keeps MJ ahead in the Jukka debate. Durant and Curry are phenomenal, game-changing players, no doubt. But they don't quite match Jordan's combination of scoring volume, championship leadership as the undisputed alpha, and that elite defensive impact.
Right. Which kind of brings us to the next layer, doesn't it? Why does Jordan feel so unique, even beyond the stat sheet?
Exactly. And this is where you really have to think about those era considerations. It's fascinating to speculate, right? Jordan played in a much more physical era. Hand-checking was allowed, defenses could be rougher in the paint, and he still dominated with incredible efficiency. So you hear the arguments, put MJ in today's game. With all the spacing, no hand-checking, could he average 40? Maybe more. It's impossible to know, but intriguing. On the other hand, his career three-point percentage, 32.7%, isn't great by today's standards. He definitely needs to adapt to the modern emphasis on the 3-ball. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it kind of shows how greatness finds a way, but how it looks statistically can really depend on the era's rules and style.
And then there's the cultural impact. It's hard to even quantify. It wasn't just basketball. Air Jordan sneakers. That wasn't just a shoe deal. It became this global cultural thing.
Sure.
And Space Jam, he was a movie star. That Air Jordan brand deal, it basically rewrote the playbook for athlete endorsements and branding. He built an empire that transcended sports in a way almost nobody else ever has.
Absolutely. And tied into that, tied into his playing legacy was that mentality, that killer instinct people always talk about. His drive to win was just relentless. And his ability to deliver in the biggest moments, under the most pressure. Think about the flu game again. Just sheer willpower. That set a standard for mental toughness that's, well, legendary. He just refused to lose.
It's also interesting to think about The demands back then versus now, Jordan played pretty much every game, 82 games a season usually, then deep playoff runs. That kind of durability and intensity, it feels different from today's game with load management being so common.
Yeah.
You know, star players sitting out games strategically.
Mm-hmm. And think about how he won those 6 titles. He elevated the Bulls. It wasn't really like the super teams we see today where multiple stars join forces. Jordan was the sun, moon, and stars for those Bulls teams. He could carry them. And doing it 6 times as the unquestioned leader, that really sets his legacy apart. It kind of makes you think of that famous Larry Bird quote.
Oh yeah, God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Exactly. It captured that feeling people had watching him, that he's just operating on a different plane.
So wrapping this all up, let's circle back to that big question. Will there ever be another Michael Jordan? Based on everything we've looked at, the stats, the records, the impact. Our conclusion has to be that Jordan's benchmark, that 30 points per game, the 6 rings, 5 MVPs, the incredible two-way play, it really does stand alone, untouched. Now, could a future player maybe hit some of those statistical marks? Possibly. The game keeps evolving, rules change, training changes. But replicating that unique blend, the competitive fire, the global cultural wave he created, that flawless clutch reputation, that seems, well, maybe improbable. And maybe that leads to a final thought for you, the listener. What does greatness in sports truly mean to you? Is it the numbers, the rings, the impact, something else entirely? It's definitely something to think about. And hey, for even more great information and analysis like this, to keep expanding your mind, you can always visit Mind Expansion Daily. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep asking questions, stay curious,